Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Ruff and Tam McManus are here with me. If you want to join the football family, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button and make sure you download the app as well, because that will give you an opportunity to get all the breaking news at your fingertips, and you'll get our unique video content as well. So lots to look forward to, lots to get our teeth into in the company of two former Hibs players. One of them obviously predicting that Hibs are going to be the top force in Edinburgh. Well, you can get your teeth into that comment that came out in Tam's column, which is absolutely fantastic. Of course, next week he'll be calling for the manager's head, but he thinks they're going to be the dominant force, Ruffy. This guy's so erratic it defies belief.
Yeah, I mean, he's not holding back, is he? You know, that he's obviously seen where Hearts are at the moment in the league and taking a punt.
Yeah, he's gone big style on it.
A massive 1 point ahead, Hibs.
Exactly. And the other great thing about it is one day of summer and these two suddenly start wearing their shorts, which is incredible. But I think a lesson to all of us that this is not just a football show. This is a chance for you, a lesson possibly for everyone, not to throw away an old couch without your mum making it into a pair of shorts. So great to see, great to see Tam.
Are we going to mention Ruffy's?
Ruffy's got his new Skechers, eh?
Hold them up,
Hold them up,
to the
Ruffy.
camera.
Let's see. That's absolutely
nice, by the way.
magnificent. They look the part, don't they?
Yeah,
comfortable.
Comfortable, very comfortable. Can play most sports with them as well, which is very good.
Are you going to play tennis with them?
Yeah, if depends what surface we're playing on, obviously.
Yeah, okay. Listen, the only reason I thought we'd have a little moment of happiness is before we get to the Scotland game, which is coming up. Also, what we're going to do is we mentioned to you time and time again, download the app and you get all the breaking news. You can pick whatever news you want, Scottish football news, all the latest news is there. But there's also a great little section called Contact where you can send us your comments, post a selfie, or indeed post your own video comment. And with that in mind, what we're going to do, Ruffy, is we're going to give away one of our posters of Cristiano Ronaldo, because he scored 900 goals competitively now. So all you have to do is go into the app, hit the contact, and drop us a message or a video with your first memory of football. Not necessarily the game that you were taken to. What's your first memory of football? Download the PLZ Soccer app, go to contact, you can send us a message or indeed record a video. And the best one, Ruffy, I think we'll give them a big poster of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, they're fantastic posters. You know, if you put them in a really proper frame, they're good. We won't be doing that. You'll just get the print off us, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Deliver it again, no?
Yeah, no, we're not going to deliver it again. No, that was a night and a half, by the way. That was because he was being a smart arse telling us to deliver the frame, and boy, it was a mental.
It was. We get lost.
Yeah.
27 up and the 5 flats.
Yes. Were you there? Honestly, it was absolutely. But the people that we met were lovely, Ruffy.
Beautiful.
But it was scary. Okay, let's talk about Scotland. Scotland 2. It's not Portugal. Poland 3. Again, there's so much to get our teeth into in this. You can give us your comments as well. But before a ball is kicked, Ruffy, my heart sank when I had a look at the starting 11. No real change. 7 of the starting 11 lost to Hungary. Possibly McGregor would have been in there anyway, and Shea Adams. That could have been 9. But there was nothing to suggest that there was a new dawn, changes that we were hoping were going to be made. So that was the first thing that kind of deflated me. And as you can see, I'll just put it back up again to give you an indication. There it is. Gunn, Ralston, Hanley, McKenna and Robertson, Gilmour, McLean, McGinn, McTominay, Christie and Dykes. No harm to them, but they failed miserably in the European Championships.
Yeah, and the overall, I'm a wee bit glass half full with the whole night, you know, and that, as you've said, they started it. We'd read about, you know, the new youth coming in, the energy they would give in the new squad and everything. I expected at least maybe 2 in the starting lineup. I think it's another failing of the manager, you know, waiting to the 70th minute and then giving guys 20 minutes, you know, to see what they can do. I was hoping maybe Doak could start, maybe Ryan Gault as well, you know, throw them in there, give them 90 minutes. But again, the manager refused to do that and he fell on the, as you said, the tried and trusted, and after 45 minutes, it didn't look good at all.
He played a 4-3-2-1, Tam, with that lineup. And of course, we were hoping that he was going to be more positive. And I think to cut Steve Clarke some slack on this, I thought they were still on the front foot in that first half, but suddenly they found themselves 2 goals down. But I think a lot of the Tartan Army, certainly when I was watching, I'm thinking they're trying to be positive.
No, I thought it was a really good performance, Peter. I think that the result definitely flattered Poland. I thought that, from minute 1 to the last minute, I thought Scotland tried to go forward and be aggressive and be positive. I thought that the substitutions coming on gave the crowd a lift, gave the team a lift, but individual errors killed us. I mean, the first goal, Kenny McLean gives the ball away. Great finish with the boy Zalewski. He was excellent on the night. I thought he was probably Poland's best player. Gave Ralston a really tough time and won the penalty kick at the end as well. The second goal, Ralston, it's a poor tackle. He kind of dives in, he gets caught wrong side, he tries to nick the ball where he should just leave it. And then Grant Hanley at the end is unforgivable, Peter. It's from an experienced defender. He does the first part really, really well. He ushers him to the byline, and you just think, just get him to the byline. Even if they win a corner, it's fine. We get out of here with a point. He dives in and gives away a stupid penalty kick, and a really good performance is wasted, I thought. But I thought there was a lot of positives to take from the game, Peter. But individual errors and the lack of a real striker that can score goals cost us.
Yeah, Bob has said shambolic defending last night. Flying Haggis says 3 individual mistakes, brilliant performance otherwise, and that includes the 3 players that made the mistakes. And also saying that Doak belongs at that level, no doubt about it. Well, Ruffy, I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, you start to see the positives of what they were trying to do to play going forward, but the old problems they're not going to be remedied short term. People are talking about great. It was nice to see Gold there, nice to see Doak there. They could be people coming in a forward sense, but we do not have defenders. We cannot defend.
No, and that was the strength of Steve Clarke when he came in there. I think initially the first 13, 14 games, we weren't losing many goals. We were hard to beat, and nicking a wee goal here and there. But again, I mean, the evidence is there at the Euros, and then again last night. I mean, that's about the 5th time we've lost 3 goals. And in international football, you're not really going to progress that far if you're losing that many goals. You look at all the top teams, they tend not to. They're very tight at the back, and they maybe nick a goal here and nick one late on when the game opens up. But I know what I'm saying, but good performance. I thought it was a good performance, but we should be expecting that. We're at home. We've got good players on the ball.
Yeah.
We should be going forward. We should be letting people getting unleashed at home, the crowd right behind the team and everything. At Hampden, we should be on the front foot, not against the big teams, but Poland are the weaker of the 2 sides that we're going to be playing. So that was an ideal opportunity for me last night to go out and blood a couple of the young boys and let's see what they could do and try and win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Ruffy. Steve Clarke, the manager, thought there was good things to take from the game.
If you want to just report on the scoreline, it's negative. It's disappointing for everybody. If you want to look objectively at the performance, there are a lot of good things that we can take forward. Obviously, some things that we have to eradicate from our performance, and that's what we have to look to do. If we can keep that positive energy around the camp that we have now, going into the next 5 games, which won't get any easier. It certainly doesn't get any tougher than going to Lisbon to play Portugal. So.
Well, before we talk about the games going forward, just on the whole game itself, we talked about the fact that we can't defend. Okay, we got a couple of goals in the game. Again, those 2 goals came from midfielders, Tam. We can't score goals. Dykes had a gilt-edged opportunity. Should have burst the net.
Yeah, should have scored. Peter, Dykes is, you know what you're getting from Dykes. He'll go up and he'll ruffle the centre-halves about and he'll put himself about, he'll win fouls. Doesn't score enough goals, Peter. And I think if you're wanting to, at that level, you need somebody that's going to put the ball in the back of the net as a striker. He does a job for the team. I think he's probably the best we've got at the minute in terms of the strikers available and what he gives the team. So he should have scored, Peter. It bounced up. He should have got his hip over it and got it into the net. I thought McTominay and Billy Gilmour were outstanding. I mean, if you're a Napoli fan watching that game, you're rubbing your hands. I thought the 2 of them were superb. I thought Billy Gilmour controlled the game. Lucky with the one that got disallowed. And those 2 I thought were outstanding and great performances. But I think we can take a lot going forward from the performance, Peter. We're in a top group now. We're in the top level. You know, we're playing Croatia, Portugal. These are top teams, and points are going to be hard to come by. But I think if we can put performances like that in, then it sets us up for the World Cup campaign coming up.
1 win in 13. The stats don't lie. I am of the belief that the manager should stay in charge all the way to try and get us to the World Cup. I know some people will give me stick for it, but I'm not against giving him criticism. I think, you know, that's the nature of the game. You live and die by your stats, Ruffy. 1 win in 13 is not good enough, and I would like to go back to that point you made, which is quite simply, they were there for the taking. We should have beaten them, and I think we're going to finish bottom of the group. Because quite simply, if you could have taken 3 points from the game against Poland last night, you build yourself up, and then you look to try and give yourself a starting position of saying maybe you can nick points here and there against Poland and Croatia. But I think it was a huge opportunity missed there, and so many people. Clarke is too loyal, says Kenny. A manager should get 2 tournaments. If he doesn't get into the knockout stages, you're gone. Tam, it's the same performance as usual, says Kenny. Poland aren't that good. And again, we all know Hanley is a bomb scare, says Michael. It happens every time he plays for Scotland and Norwich. And I was shouting for his sacking after the Euros, says the Flying Haggis. Last night, the complete opposite. The players still believe in Clarke, which I think is a really good point. And John McGrory says we probably shouldn't be in the top tier anyway, but playing better teams does lead to improvement. Johnny says Portugal will hammer us. Ruffy, that I think the point that you made, it was a huge opportunity to get something to build on. But I think he's going to come under a lot of pressure in the Nations League because of the calibre of teams we're going to come up against, unless he suddenly gets them to play the way they did going up to the games against Spain.
Yeah, well, the way the game is now, it's all about stats now. You know, it doesn't matter what game you're playing. You know, we saw it last week in the Rangers Celtic game. People are quite happy to throw about stats after the game, whether you accept them or not. But the stats are, if you don't start winning games, you know, it gets worse and worse, and people jump onto that. You know, and it is a hard group, there's no doubt about that. But I thought he would have learned his lesson, you know, because he fell into the trap everybody's been waiting on. You know, you picked the same team that would let us down in the Euros, you know, and you've went on record to say we've got 4 or 5 guys in there who are going to make things different, and then you don't play any of them from the start.
There's the other thing. There's the other thing I was going to say to you, Ruffy. Okay, let's just defend them on this point, Tam, which is quite simply, okay, stick with the tried and trusted. See if you can get, you know, a foothold in the game. Even then, in the second half of that game, we're 2-0 down, and he starts the second half. We get an early goal that builds the confidence. But there was then a lull in that match where I'm saying, please make a change. Make a change. And then it's 71 minutes. Now, I'm going to, again, it's a flip side of this. Well done. You made 3 positive changes. Shankland, Doak, Gold come on in 71 minutes. But I would have made it earlier. I would have made that change earlier.
That's why managers are paid to make decisions, Peter. You know, you could argue that they could have made it earlier. I thought I thought Scotland were really in charge in the second half, and you could have made it 10 minutes earlier, Peter. You know, if you're being pernickety. But I thought the changes that he did bring on gave the whole team a lift. I thought Morgan coming on as well was excellent. So he did change from a 3 at the back. The 3 at the back in the Euros was a disaster. You know, we stuck with the 3 at the back. He went 4 at the back last night. I thought that suited us a lot better. It suited Robertson getting forward and Ralston getting forward, but it left us exposed. You know, when they two were forward, I think 3 at the back gives you a little bit more security. But no, honestly, Peter, I thought it was a good performance, and it was just 3 individual errors on the night really cost us. But if we play like that in all the games, I think we'll pick points up.
You think so?
I think so, Peter. I think we'll pick points up, but we need to cut out individual errors. If we're going to concede 2 penalties every game, then we're not going to pick up anything. But if we can, you know, eradicate the mistakes that we made, I thought there was a lot to be positive about last night, to be honest.
Yeah, after the game, of course, Alison and Kerry caught up with some players. Billy Gilmour thinks we can pick up points, starting with Portugal on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, they've got unbelievable players. as you say, Ronaldo, Leao, you can name them, full team, incredible players, and we'll back ourselves. We know we've been there and done it before for Spain and stuff, so we'll go out there and give it all.
Yeah, we've got to keep our fingers crossed. At some point, though, I think we might be behind the couch. Lyndon, Dykes, as ever. You know what you're getting with the big man. He grafts and he anticipates he's going to be grafting on Sunday again.
Yeah, 100%. You look at tonight, we're losing 2-0. Probably a lot of people thought it was over. We came back 2-2. Could have easily won it again. We didn't, but still to come back from 2 goals the way we did, we were looking dominant the whole game. We were playing well, so it's definitely in there. I'm fully confident my teammates got all their backs, and I'll run through brick walls for them, and I'm sure they'll do the same for me. So going forward, then we're going to be all right.
I like the big man's attitude. He's just not. Just not prolific.
Yeah, I like him as well. He just needs somebody up beside him. I don't mean another striker.
What, as a two?
No, I don't mean another striker. I just mean somebody for the midfield. You know who's. You know what you're going to get. He's going to fight and he's going to get his elbows up. He's going to get maybe second balls bouncing about. We need somebody who can read that situation and feed off him, because if he goes up and he wins that ball, you know, there's nobody to help him out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, lots of great points coming in. Jason Cundy says 2 of the back 4 have barely kicked a ball in 18 months. Can't argue with that. Hugh says, afternoon guys, poor result last night. Positive signs, McTominay and Gilmour outstanding. Nice to see Doak and Gold getting on. Michael Taylor says, we missed Tierney and Hickey badly. You can see that. And Hanley and McLean, says Martin, are not international quality. They need to go, in my opinion. Listen, we know the problems with the back 4. I actually thought after he gave away the penalty, I thought Ralston actually came onto a game. I mean, he moved forward. He created the goal for McTominay. I thought he was positive. But again, it's very rarely he's getting a game for Celtic. He's coming on as a sub.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for players that are not playing to come right into a Scotland team. You've seen it last night with Hanley and Ralston. You know, it must be difficult. You're not playing, you're training, you're not match fit. You're not going to get Hickey, Tam. So who's coming in?
You've got Kenny's suggesting Nicky Devlin at Aberdeen. Oh, Kenny's an Aberdeen fan, but I'm not going to discount him because of that. Is it somebody like that, or are we looking at Patterson? Hasn't been great, Tam.
Yeah, he's injured. Unfortunately, our 2 main right backs are injured at the minute, and Ralston's not playing. Does he start looking at the SPFL? Does he start looking at Nicky Cadden? Does he look at Devlin? Does he look at guys like that? Rooney at St Mirren? I don't know, but we're always going to struggle, Peter, if we're throwing players in that have not been playing. Portis has not been playing at Watford. That's how he wasn't playing last night. So he was in the team. He's not in the team at Watford. So Lyndon Dykes wasn't in the team at Queen's Park. He's obviously went to Birmingham. So there's a lot of players in the team that are not playing every week, and you can tell last night. You know, the last 20 minutes they're starting to tire, but we've got no one else, Peter, unless he's going to start looking into the domestic league and picking players from that.
Yeah, because he did bring on Shanklin, but Shanklin hasn't scored a goal.
No, he's not set the header. Prior this year, he was fantastic. Last year, everybody was wondering where he was going to go to Rangers, where he was going to go down south, and quite rightly, with the amount of goals he was scoring, the quality of the goals he was signing. He's in a team now who are not creating chances, and he's struggling a wee bit, but I would still like to see him getting 90 minutes. Let's see if he can get. We keep talking about, you know, he seems to be, we don't get many chances, so, and I think that's his asset, you know, he's sort of he makes chances, if you know what I mean. He'll be there with the balls bouncing about, you know, where Dykes isn't he? So, you know, if we're not going to play these guys against Poland, are we going to play them against Portugal? In Portugal? Is he going to throw any of the youngins in then?
Is he going to be more adventurous
Exactly.
and put Doak in? Where do you think I wonder where Gold's going to fit in this whole... Let's just say he perseveres with the 4-3-2-1, which obviously is going to be a 4-5-1 when you're coming up against Portugal away on Sunday. Does he throw in a Doak on that right flank to give us options? Does he... where is Gold in this? Who's the McGregor replacement? Is it Gold?
No, I think Gold's probably going to play in the McTominay role, right behind the striker. I think that Gold, you know, I've watched him a few times at Vancouver. He plays in that number 10 role, plays behind the striker. So I think if you're going to play him, he needs to play behind Dykes, which is probably McTominay's position. So I don't think he's going to play there. Doak's an interesting one. I think he could possibly play. It's a big game to throw him into. but you know, you never know what could happen. I thought Morgan came on and looked sharp as well, so I think he's got options.
Did
I thought
McGinn?
McGinn was poor, Peter.
Well, I was going to say to you, if you think McGinn was poor, we thought he was poor throughout the whole of the European Championships.
Yeah, he's just went off the boil for Scotland. I've not seen a lot of him for Aston Villa this season, but definitely in the Euros, I don't think he did a great tournament last night. The final goal, he gives the ball away in the middle of the pitch, and that's what leads to the penalty kick. I don't think he's been great, but he's set himself such high standards. He's a darling of the Tartan Army, and I think he's a big Steve Clarke favourite, so I don't see him dropping him.
Do you not remember somebody telling us something about McGinn about 4 years ago at Wembley?
Don't say who the person was.
No, I won't.
Right?
But you know what I'm trying to say. You know, his assets are fantastic when he's going forward, but he loses the ball too much in midfield.
Yeah,
Puts you under pressure. Not all the time.
No. I wouldn't like to suddenly start throwing the microscope on McGinn as if, you know, he's a problem, because he's clearly not our problem. I think I thought last night at times he does have that ability to, you know, turn the arse around, shift it, get us out wide quickly in difficult positions. But I think our big problems are we can't defend. So I would take McGinn, McTominay out of the equation. McLean gave the ball away for the goal. The first goal, Kenny McLean's pass, you know, just allows them to go forward and score the first goal, which again I thought Gunn was.
I would love to ask him, you know.
You think Gunn for the first goal?
I thought he got his hand. I thought it was a good strike.
It's a long way out.
It's dipped in front of him. It's hit the inside of the post. And
Hold on a minute. You're a striker. What do you think, Ruffy?
I thought he got his hand to it. I thought he tried.
The first one he got his hand to it, do you think?
I thought he should have.
No, I thought he got a wee bit his hand to it. I think he tried to get there and try and push it.
Right, that's not the question I'm asking you, though. Do you think he should have done better? I thought he should have.
Yeah, I thought he should have done better.
Yeah.
A player of his
Not for me.
quality.
I thought he should have saved the penalty, but I thought he should have saved the penalty. I think he's down there. He's down, and it's.
He does get a hand on it.
I thought he should have saved the penalty. First one is a bit. I think it's harsh if you're blaming him for that, but.
Yeah, Bob says Shankland's breathing through his bahookie, and he only played 20 minutes. I mean, listen.
Hard coming on as a sub.
Hey, that speaks 240 sub appearances.
Sure, you were saying the back four's dodgy. Why are we playing two in front of them? Surely that two in front of them is supposed to do their job by not letting teams get to the back four. If you're going to play two defensive people in front of them.
I don't think the problem was through the middle. Ruffy, I think it was wide. You seen Ralston pushing forward at times and he was getting caught. I thought the boy for Roma that scored the goal, Zalewski, was superb, and he caused us a lot of problems down the flanks, and that's where he got down for the third goal as well, down the side. I don't think it was particularly through the middle. I think it was the wide areas Robertson bombing on as well, but that's what happens when you play four at the back. You play four, and your two full-backs are bombing forward. There's going to be spaces down the flanks. If you play three at the back, they can kind of cover it, but I thought four at the back was a good call, Peter.
Yeah.
Because three at the back didn't work at all in the Euros, and he gets slaughtered for it.
And they were all, by the way, the three at the back in the Euros, you were actually sitting waiting for it. There was an air of inevitability about it, because you're asking someone to play who's not a natural centre half in Tierney at the best of times, aren't you?
I think Ralston's more comfortable at four, and so is Robertson, rather than playing his wing backs. They play with clubs at four.
Then? Who would be the best four if everybody's available?
At the back?
Yeah.
If everybody's available, like the guys that I think Aaron Hickey right back, Robertson, Tierney and
Henry.
Jack Henry.
Yeah.
Where is Jack Henry? He's injured.
Yeah.
We've missed him as well. I think he missed his pace, his recovery pace. I thought McKenna was pretty solid last night. So I think your four, if one's available, is Robertson, Tierney, Henry and...
You play Tierney as a centre half?
I'd play Tierney as a centre half, aye.
In a four?
Yep.
That gives you an indication. I don't think we can defend at all unless some youngsters start to emerge, and I don't know too many who are in our Scottish game at the moment or elsewhere. I think we are constantly going to give away goals. I think it's our biggest problem. Sometimes you're looking at it, you're saying, my God, this team needs to score two to get a draw.
Well, you can't deny the evidence of that is there for everybody to see. Most of the goals we lose, as Tam said there, they're down the flanks. You know, they're balls into the box. You know, there's people up front in other teams a wee bit sharper in their two centre halves who don't react quick enough. And yeah, every successful team is solid at the back.
Yeah, Bob says Peter loves John McGinn. Clearly a good mate. He's genuinely not. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think you can. As David Provan used to say to me, there are no friends in football. It's only acquaintances. But our job is to analyse it. I mean, we think. I thought John McGinn was way off it in the European Championships. We said that on our programme. I thought he was better last night. And I didn't think he was the focus of our attention for what went wrong. Going into that game last night, I automatically thought what you thought. It's near enough a same 11. There's no new blood coming in. That was the first thing that frustrated me. And then the second thing I'm looking at is we can't defend. We just cannot defend. The amount of times a player has got distance in front of him to move towards their centre halves is unbelievable. Because if it's the midfielders who are making that mistake and giving it away, all of a sudden we'll get people bearing down on us. And then from the flanks, Tam, they always get in behind us.
I think we played the high we played the high press last night, Peter. And I think when you play that way, there's always going to be times if you're playing against a quality opposition, they're going to get through your press, and that's them onto your back four. But that's the risk you take. And I thought it worked to a certain extent. But then when they do get through your press, your defenders have got to be good in 1v1 situations. They've got to be able to handle it, and I didn't think we'd done that last night. But I think
we've tried everything, Tom. We've tried 3-5-2. We're now on 4-3-2-1. We can't defend because we haven't got good enough defenders.
Individual errors, Peter.
Yeah, and Shug, I think, is hit the nail on the head, which is the other big problem with this whole situation, which hasn't changed. He's just said, hard to win games without a striker. Not many teams function properly without a good number 9. Number 9s can paper over cracks, Ruffy.
Yeah,
Lewandowski.
Yeah, we've seen that not bad. You've seen that you could pick all the big teams that get to Champions League and Cup finals and all that. You look at the quality they've got, what they do. They drag centre halves all over the place. They hold the ball up properly for midfield to support. And that's the really good ones. But then the really, really good ones score a goal that wins your game. And we've never had anybody like that for a long time. Yeah, for a long time, you're absolutely right. So suddenly we're going into a Portugal game, and if I can I don't want to put you on a complete downer, but I watched the highlights of that match, and Ronaldo's, the ball in for Ronaldo's goal is an absolute peach of a goal, isn't it? Yeah, it is, but again, you look at their team, you look at the quality that they've got, the
Costa, Dalot, Diaz, Inacio, Mendes, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Pedro Neto, Cristiano Ronaldo and Rafael Leao.
Yeah, and who's the really good player that can't get in the team? The young boy. Give me their subs and I'll tell you who it is.
You know what? I swear to God, by the way, Tam, I
swear
to God, this is 12 years of this. I actually looked and I said, I'm going to give them the starting 11, right?
Costa.
And I thought to myself, no. Good chance. But I just said I'm going to give him the starting 11. I knew he'd suddenly ask a question.
He just signed for Chelsea.
He just signed for Chelsea. Right. That means he signed for Port Vale.
He never sent to the Euros.
Oh. Right, hold on.
What was Atletico Madrid striker?
Hold on.
Chelsea.
Semedo?
No.
Neves? No. João Neves?
No.
Silva?
No.
Diogo Jota?
No, but he's good enough.
Goncalves? No. Right. So are you talking about somebody that didn't go on?
He didn't go on. That game.
Was he a sub?
Euros, he was good.
Was he a sub?
He just signed. He signed for Chelsea then.
He was at Chelsea and Atletico Madrid.
Is he not midfield player?
João Felix?
Yes.
Is it a London team he's played for?
You said Rui? You said Rui?
Honestly.
Rui Felix is his dad.
He can't get in the team.
No, João Felix.
João Felix.
Yeah.
He can't get in that team.
Yeah. God almighty, honestly. But to be fair, are they going to hammer us?
No.
No?
Because Steve Clarke will do what he's good at. He'll set a stall out that will be hard to beat. And unfortunately, it's going to hinder us if we're going to try and take something out of the game.
By the way, Kenny, I've just looked here, and Graham Caldwell. Thanks, Graham. I know you've just said it there, João Felix as well. We eventually got there in the end. Thank you for that. That's the great thing about the feed. Everybody helps you out, don't they? I mean, that's the joy of this.
Having it says Rui something.
The only thing miss, I know exactly. By the way, I'm surprised he didn't say Eusebio. But nevertheless, we've got to come up with a plan to try and stop them. I mean, listen, everybody focuses on Ronaldo, but they've got other players that are so tricky. I mean, in the middle of the park, I love Silva.
Bernardo Silva's magnificent footballer.
He's
What a
outrageous,
player!
isn't he?
What a player! And I like Bruno Fernandes as well. He's good with Portugal. I know he annoys the life out of me with Man United.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
a fan.
think he's a skipper.
He's a sulker. I would be.
He's good
I would
with
be
Portugal.
Chick Charlie with him. By the way, I'd be in the
Aye.
dressing room punching him.
But he knows he's not the top man in Portugal.
Sulker. Never seen him on the park when things aren't going well.
I played fives with him against Tommy Sheridan's team and he was going to have his head.
By the way, he is a sulker though. He's a
I
top
know.
professional footballer, for God's
He
sake.
doesn't do it with
Can you
Portugal.
imagine Roy Keane playing in the middle of the park with Bruno Fernandes and he starts throwing his hissy fits?
No, but these superstars think they can get away with it. And if he's turning it on, he can do whatever he likes as far as I'm concerned if he's playing well.
Always at Portugal, he always reminds me of 5-0 when Alan McCoist broke his leg. Stadium
Yeah.
of Light, was it Stadium
Yeah.
of Light?
I actually.
Was that the manager's last game? Was that Roxburgh or
Well,
Craig Brown? I can't
I
remember.
think Portugal won 5-0.
5-0.
But I think
McCoist broke his leg.
I think I seem to remember Georges Cadet scored for
I can't know.
Portugal.
That's my early memories of this fixture.
Was it Craig Brown got a wee bit of stick because he asked a taxi driver or something?
Somebody in the feed can tell us who about that game 5-0
Try and
Scotland.
keep it
And
accurate,
McCoist
Ruffy.
won his.
I know there was a story going about that Craig Brown had asked a taxi driver something. I just can't remember.
Tactics or something.
Aye, something like that.
Yeah.
And he altered his team or something like that accordingly because of the taxi driver.
I don't think that's going to be the case. That's a wives' tale. Anyway, apart from that, Tam, what's your thoughts on? By the way, just before we talk about the overall Scotland, we've got to mention Ronaldo. 900 goals. It is absolutely fantastic for a player. 39 years of age, and he's the first player in history to achieve that feat, Tam, as a striker.
Yeah, listen, he's been phenomenal. He's a brilliant career. I think Alex Ferguson tells the story of when he played Sporting Lisbon in the pre-season game, and this young 17-year-old come on and really destroyed him in the wing. So I think that they signed him when he first came in. He was a wee bit of a sand dancer. I thought, he done the tricks in the wrong area, but I think with Alex Ferguson and guys like Keane and Neville's and Giggs, he matured as a player, brilliant at Man United. And no, I think the thing that I like about him is his hunger. I think at 39 years old, he's a multi-millionaire. He's won everything. He's still got that. He's playing in Saudi Arabia. He's still got the hunger to come back with Portugal. And even in the Euros there, he didn't score a goal, but you could see how hard he was trying. Probably trying too hard in the Euros to score goals and to win it for his country. But no, a phenomenal athlete and somebody that's worked really, really hard at his game. I don't think he's naturally as gifted as Messi, but his record's probably better, if not as equal, if not better than Messi.
Well, listen, look at his goals. 5 for Sporting Lisbon, signed for Manchester United. Now, the only thing I was going to say to you, Ruffy, if you remember this, if you remember his career, he signed as a 7.
He's a winger, wasn't he?
And then he transformed into a 9 at Real Madrid. They moved him to a 9 because obviously as you mature, you're not that quick sand dancer as you talk about. 145 goals for Man United, 450. I mean, that's outrageous. 450 for Real Madrid, 101 for Juventus, 68 for Al Nassr, and Portugal 131 goals, which is absolutely incredible in 212 games for Portugal. He's just outrageous.
Yes. Who's our record goal scorer? Is it Kenny and
Dennis Law, 30.
30. And he's got many.
He's got 900.
No, for Scotland. Portugal.
131.
Could have done with
To be
him.
fair, he's got 210 caps, man.
To be
Guy
fair.
turns up at every camp, every friendly.
No, but it's amazing because Kenny Dalglish, scored
Kenny
100.
was 105.
Well, Kenny scored over 100 goals for Celtic and over 100 for Liverpool. This guy is just...
Don't diss Kenny.
No, but he's a machine. No, but we're comparing Scotland, their greatest player, against their greatest player. The one thing I was going to say to you, which I know you're going to jump all over because that's what you do,
Bounce games, like Pele.
this is exactly what I've written down, honestly, because the Guinness Book of Records has looked at the whole situation. On the FIFA website, they've credited Pele with 1,281 goals, okay? Now, of that, the official Guinness book says, look, he's amassed that haul with the help of around 550 exhibition and amateur matches, okay? So the official career total matches is 762 goals. So, you know, Ronaldo's well ahead of him. But all I would say to you in, you know, reply to Bojo's here on the right-hand side, Ruffy, is Ronaldo is no Pele.
No, and the thing that Ronaldo's got over Pele is he was allowed to travel a bit. Pele wasn't allowed
Yes.
to come into Europe or at that age, or that time because of
Yeah.
whatever.
Isn't
So
it
he was
great, by the
limited.
way, that, you know, can you imagine, let me just put this into perspective for you. Ruffy, Liverpool come in for you, you're at Partick Thistle, right? And you're living in Scotland, right? Just this scenario. It's a wee bit different because we are all on an island together, right? But let's just say you're at Partick Thistle, you're playing out your skin, Liverpool come in for you, and the First Minister of Scotland says you can't go. I mean, that is effectively what the Brazilian dictatorship said. You're not selling the national treasure. He's not going until, I think he went to the Cosmos when he was about 30, 31,
That's
32.
right, yeah.
You know?
So, but
But
I mean,
Ronaldo's-
I mean, we've saw all the clips of Ronaldo. Honestly, for the younger generation, if you get clips of Pele, some of the stuff that he did,
Yeah.
you know, in World Cups and club football, but the way he just waltzed, a wee bit like Messi, he just
Yeah.
waltzed by people.
By the way, I like a bit of noise up on this, and Jason says Pele's goals were against teams like East Kilbride and Annan. Yeah, the other thing, the other defence of it, Jason, can I just say, if he was playing in a crap league in Brazil, how come they managed to win the World Cup regularly against all the top teams? They had some players, but I think, where does Ronaldo rate in your?
Oh, I think he's up there, Peter. But what I like about Ronaldo is he's done it in different leagues. I think that's one thing you could put against maybe Messi. I know he's in America now, but Messi, the entire career was basically with Barcelona and Spain. I think you look at the leagues he's went in, he's done it in the Premiership, he's done it in Serie A, he's done it in the Spanish League.
He won it for Portugal,
Done it
in
in
a couple of tournaments, single-handedly. Ronaldo.
He got them
He won the European
he got
Championships.
He got them to the final. I mean, he was injured. I think early on in the European
done a John
Championship
Terry at the end.
final. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, you'd have been up there with the Portugal boys lifting that trophy. He's absolutely fantastic. Some people like him. If anything, I think the one thing that's going against him at this moment in time is people don't like the whole celebration and how he loves himself. But I think his place in history is, as we go on and people like you and I pop our clubs, Ruffy, I think people will start to elevate him inside the top three.
Oh, definitely. I think he's got to be in the top three. The worrying thing is you take them out of the equation. Who are the next three? Who are the next three we're all going to enjoy?
I think there was
Haaland's obviously one.
He's not.
He's not done it. He's not done it.
He'll break records for scoring goals, but he's not that type of player, is he?
No, we were lucky enough, Ruffy, I think all of us here, to say that we witnessed two of the greatest players ever to play the game going head to head in La Liga.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And to actually, lucky enough to actually, Sean, I just thought
the World Cup for me, that was it.
Yeah, that do it for you.
Winning that, and he was winning that.
Pele was
Absolutely. It's like teaching kindergarten here. Anyway, apart from that, let's.
Portuguese on Sunday. Wow.
Yeah, what are you going for?
I think Portugal might win that one. Do you know there's somebody in the studio who's actually been in a team that's beat Portugal?
Well, I don't think it's me or Tam. What was the score?
I don't know.
But you won.
We won. I think we won at Hampden.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go 3-1 Portugal.
No, I think we'll be disciplined enough to keep it to 2-0.
2-1 Portugal.
2-1 Portugal. Okay. Here's the news headlines.
Welcome to your Daily News Headlines, sponsored by Arnold Clarke. I'm Patrick, and here's your top stories. On the 6th of September, it was last-minute heartbreak for Scotland last night in their opening Nations League fixture against Poland. A 97th minute penalty by Nicola Zalewski sealed all 3 points for the visitors. Speaking after the game, Steve Clarke says his side must cut out the simple errors.
Obviously disappointing to lose a game like that, a game that we shouldn't lose. But if you make errors at this level, you get punished, and we got punished severely for the errors that we made in the game.
And it was Grant Hanley that conceded that last-minute penalty in the game. Speaking after the game, Lewis Morgan, well, he's backed the defender to bounce back.
Grant's played at the top level for his whole career, you know, so I've got no worries about him being able to bounce back and go again at the weekend. He's one of the leaders of that group.
And England take on Ireland tomorrow in what will be Lee Carsley's opening game as interim boss. Morgan Gibbs-White, he's one of the players called up to the squad for the very first time, and he's been speaking about his delight that Carsley got the job.
And I was buzzing when I found out that he got the job, because I felt like he really deserved it, and I feel like it suits him perfectly.
And don't forget to tune in to the PLZ Soccer Football Show tonight, live from 4 p.m. on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. That's all of your headlines, brought to you by Arnold Clarke.
Thanks for that, Patrick. You're on the show. Let's talk about some domestic issues now that we've kind of, thanks to so many of you for giving us your thoughts on the situation Scotland find themselves in with the away game now against Portugal. Thank you for your predicament on that, and thank you for your observations. The Flying Haggis says, here's my top 3 world players of all time: Maradona, Messi, and then Bobby Lennox. So there you are. You can get Andy Craig says 6-1 Portugal. Anyway, the other thing I was going to say to you is Ronaldo, just as we were talking about him there, if you get a chance, we always like to get you to subscribe, but if you go on your phone and in the App Store, just download the PLZ Soccer app. You can go into the contacts at the bottom, hit the contact, and then you can post a video. Tell us your first memory of football, and then post it with, of course, your email there. And we will give the winner at the end of next week. We'll give them, the winner, a huge poster of Ronaldo. I think in his Portugal top as well, Tam, which is cracking. Jim Scullion, brilliant.
Yeah, posters are cracking, Peter. And
yeah.
as you said, if you can get a nice frame, it'd be nice in somebody's wall.
Yeah, shut it, they're not getting a frame because Ruffy and I are not going out in the car. We're posting it in a tube, Ruffy, this time, aren't we? I mean, honestly, it was mental. Okay, what about...
going to be available to do that?
Who? Ronaldo?
No, you're going to get a tube to post.
Yeah, it'll be available. What about the domestic issues? Rangers injury problems.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Danilo, knee injury, out for a month. Matondo looks as if with that injury with that hamstring, he could be out for 8 weeks.
Yeah, and particularly with him coming on late on and scoring that goal, I think the Rangers supporters would be going, oh, here we go, we're going to get this Brazilian fit and ready to go and firing all cylinders. But again, there's some players seem to be injury prone, you know, and they just kind of shake it off. They just pick up, they think they're okay, and then all of a sudden they pick something up and it keeps them out for 2 or 3 weeks or even longer. I
mean, that is a blow, and I've got a big question to ask you as well. But suddenly, you know, you're looking and the manager knows they've got Dundee United coming up at Tannadice. You're losing key players. You're wanting to get the strength of maybe another option at striking department. Matondo has been one of those players that can create something a wee bit different. It's at that point you're saying to yourself, he needs that like a hole in the head, because they want to try and go on a run now.
Yeah, I think he needs to go on a run. I think the pressure's on the manager now. I think his record at Rangers has been pretty poor overall. I think that he's still to beat Celtic as well, but as long as he can keep winning games against the rest, then you get into that next Old Firm game, which is what, January, Peter? 2nd of January. If you're still only 5 points behind, then you're still in the shake-up, but you can't afford to drop any more. I don't see Celtic drop many points, so I think Rangers need to try and keep tabs on Celtic right up until January.
Do you think that Rangers? I know everybody says it, you know, because it's one of those things. It's early days. There's 4 games, but do you think Rangers have to remain unbeaten, winning every game?
Absolutely, Peter. Well, I'm not so sure about winning every game. They might afford a couple of draws, but I think that you look at how strong Celtic are, how strong their bench is, their squad is, how hungry they are. I don't see Celtic dropping many points, so Rangers will need to beat the rest right up until that game in January, or else you'll see the manager under increasing pressure. I think Danilo is a blow. I think he came in for about £5-6 million, a huge signing for Rangers, and he's been injured constantly. As Ruffy said, coming on against Ross County and getting the goal, you think maybe he's back fit again and he's going to put pressure on Dessers, but that's a huge blow for Rangers. I think Matondo I don't think he's going to be a regular, but he's handy to bring off the bench with his pace, so I think the manager needs that little hole in the head in a minute, and he's got other things to deal with as well.
Yeah, strangely enough though, I'm going to be a little bit more dramatic than Tam on this. I can't see Celtic losing a game up until the January the 2nd, and I don't see. I'm going to be brutal on this, Ruffy. The way they're playing, I don't see draws.
No, initially right at this moment in time, because you're seeing what they've got in reserve and you're seeing the ones that are coming on and they're turning it on. I think last season there was a sort of a wee lull when the likes of McGregor get injured and Cameron Vickers get injured.
There wasn't a lull, Ruffy, they were rotten.
Yeah, rotten now, but I mean, what I'm trying to say, if that was to happen this year, McGregor was to get injured, or Cameron Vickers or Kyogo, the players that they brought in look ample enough to see them through any horrible, if they were out for 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, you know, the players that they've got in look capable enough to go in and take their places.
Because you remember last season, you had Celtic fans constantly saying they're not playing well, the football was dire. Then all of a sudden, towards the tail end of the season, they'd maybe 45 minutes where they looked like they were suddenly getting it together. Then they had 2 really good games, and then they capped it off with the Scottish Cup win. So they won the league and they won the cup. But this season, Tam, you know, he's had that full season. He's already come out, Brendon Rodgers, and said, by the way, I'm happy with the signings. This is the type of team I've got at my disposal now that could maybe do something in the Champions League and get, you know, into that knockout stage.
Yeah, I think at spells last season Celtic were really, really poor. Don't think there's any hiding away from that. I thought that they struggled to score goals at one period. I remember them early doors, you know, losing to Hearts at home and drawing 0-0 with St Johnstone, and the fans were not happy with the team. I think they really kicked into turbo after the winter break. You know, the last 6 or 7 weeks of the season they were excellent, and they've continued that this season, Peter. I think that you go right back to pre-season. They went abroad and you know, beating Chelsea, beating Man City, it gives you confidence. I know it's only a friendly game, but these teams are quality outfits. You know, with big players in their team, you beat them and then you come back and you've been imperious domestically. Don't think Celtic have lost a goal yet in the league. They've only lost one in the cup to Hibs, but you're right. I mean, you're probably going to read out the fixtures now. It's difficult to see where Celtic are going to drop points.
Well, the only 3 games where I think there's some air of contention for this is quite simply the away games that are coming up. That's against, maybe, I'm being kind on this, they've got Aberdeen away in December, they've got Dundee United away in December, and they've got Hearts. You know, and you know, Hearts are woeful. The first one they've got is Hearts in November. But other than that, I mean, I just think at home, all the games they've got coming up, I'm saying, I don't see slip-ups. And the other thing about it with, you know, with Rangers is he's got to try and convince people, as we were talking about the other day there, here's 9 out of my 11 that you can pick. And the other thing which I was talking to a couple of Rangers fans about is, and here's the question, do you sell James Tavernier? Because there was a suggestion that maybe they might punt him out to Turkey or Saudi Arabia because their windows are still open. I can't see that happening. I think that would be an act of lunacy. I mean, I heard it mooted today.
Yeah, he seems to have become a huge scapegoat for the supporters. I think we've all seen the situation outside Ibrox with the supporter giving them abuse. I think you look in social media, you know, he's getting dogs abuse, he's not captain material, and he's really come under fire from a large section of the Rangers supporters. For me, I still think he's one of Rangers' best players. I think he gets exposed against Celtic because he's up against Maeda, who's a Duracell bunny, and he just can't deal with that pace. I think in other games he'll be fine. He won't be coming up against that quality. I think against, you know, St Mirren's and teams like that, Kilmarnock, he'll be fine. He'll cruise through those games, Ross County. But I think against the bigger clubs and the better players, he struggles because I think he's lost a yard of pace. I think his legs have gone personally. But you're always judged against Celtic, and that's what he's getting judged against, Peter. James Tavernier, and he has been the last couple of seasons at fault for quite a few goals. It will depend if the player wants to leave. I don't see him being that type of character that's going to hide and go, I want to leave. I think he'll try and suck it up and get through it. So I don't think they'll sell him, Peter, no. And I think if they did sell him, I think it would be a mistake, personally. I still think he's one of Rangers' best players.
Well, there's no avenue to bring anybody else in of that quality. You know, they might take in large sums of money, but all the windows are shut now for the good players. So they're not going to get anybody in of Tavernier's quality.
Yeah, I just think it would be. I just think it would be a real mistake. I don't think it's a goer anyway. I'm there to be proved wrong, but I agree with you guys on this. And suddenly Rangers find themselves with only really Dessers and Igamami as the options up front.
Yeah, and Igamami came on and looked okay. I know it's difficult. We only got on for 10, 15 minutes, but he had some nice touches. I think you're heavily reliant on Dessers. I thought he was poor in the Old Firm game right enough. I thought he had chances, and I thought Carter Vickers, bullied him all day. But again, that's just against Celtic. I don't think any Rangers players are good enough against Celtic. I think against the rest, they should still win games, Peter, with the squad they've got. But if anything happens to Dessers between now and January, they are in a sticky wicket, Rangers, big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all about recruitment again. What did you make of Brendon Rodgers' comments, though, that he's... I was waiting to see when that question would be answered. He says he reckons the squad's now good enough to make the knockout stages of the Champions League in that playoff place.
Well, there's a difference a week can make, when you've...
Yeah. There's a real sense of hysteria around Scottish football at the moment, isn't there?
Is. I mean, the feeling coming out of Celtic was a wee bit of panic the week before that... the window shut, because nothing seemed to be happening, but obviously there was things happening behind the scenes. He now has got some quality players in there. I'm sure the supporters will be wanting a good effort in the Champions League this year. I think the draw has been relatively favourable to them compared to what they have drawn in group stages before. Usually they get two big ones, but they've got a couple of big ones, but the games they've got at home, you would think they should, if they're on form, win these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Tam?
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should be looking. I think that Brendon is going to be judged in Europe. I think domestically, as I've said many times, I think Celtic are miles ahead of the rest. I include Rangers and that. They're miles ahead. They should win the league. They should be big favourites to win both cups as well. But I think in Europe, you've got to be better in Europe. I think the supporters are demanding Celtic being competitive in Europe, and the new structure of the Champions League makes it easier for Celtic. As Ruffy says, they're not up against a PSG and a Man City and maybe another decent team where you're just fighting for third place. They're in a group now where they should be looking to get into that playoff place and to try and give themselves a knockout game.
Yeah, okay. Thank you to each and every one of you for your support over the course of last season and your support for this season. Our figures, again, so impressive. And it's because basically we're trying to give you as much content as we possibly can. Fair play to Kerry. She was out and about with Blair and they had a great one-to-one with Simon Murray of Dundee. Out there chatting to him. He's talking about Dundee, winning honours with them, possibly a cup, and giving us the insight on Luke McCowan and what the Celtic fans can expect. Great interview with Simon Murray. And of course, Alison McConnell in our McConnell Meets Lee Miller. She was chatting to Lee Miller about not only his own career, but Lennon as well. It's well worth a listen. And Lee Miller, of course, with a son that everybody's been tracking, Ruffy, it's good to have a dad that's been over the course.
Yeah, and you always look for a young kid to get advice. Sometimes some agents maybe give the young player the wrong advice, but if your dad is a past player, you've got to listen to your dad.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get that on our website, on the app, and of course, if you download the app, you'll get it on our YouTube channel too. But if you download the app, why not enter our competition this week and a chance for you? Just tell us what's your first memory of football. You download the app and then you just go into the contact and you can send us your message or indeed post a video. If you post a video as well, Tam, it gives us a chance to see some of the people who are watching the programme posting their videos of their face, and they can post a comment on their favourite team. It'd be great to see what Kenny in LA looks like, wouldn't it, if he just got on?
Probably get some tan, I would suggest, if he's in LA. What was your first memory of football, Ruffy?
With me playing in it?
Just your first memory of...
My dad took me to Scotland-Austria game at Hampden. Scotland won 4-1 and the game got abandoned with 15 minutes to go.
How about you,
Is
Peter?
that right? Wow, that is amazing. My first memory of football is my mum took me to see the Lisbon Lions the last time they ever appeared together when they beat Clyde 6-0. And the Lisbon Lions walked out onto the park, and at that point, I think Ronnie Simpson waved to everybody and then he went off. and I think Evan Williams come on because obviously I think Ronnie Simpson had been injured, but that was the last time they ever appeared together in that game. That's my memory.
Mine's, I remember playing as a kid and all that, but my first really was the 1990 World Cup when I was around 8 probably. And it was, I tell you, my first abiding memory. Remember Claudio Caniggia went by about 3 Cameroon players and they all took a pot shot at him. And then the final one, his boot came off. I can remember thinking, an 8-year-old thinking his foot's just come off and screaming to my dad. Wow. He's just kicked his foot off, Dad, and it was his boot. But that was when Cameroon beat Argentina 1-0 in the opening game, the world champions.
Yeah, I remember that. Caniggia, I mean, honestly, if you'd said to Caniggia in that World Cup game, by the way, you'll be coming to Dundee in a few years.
I know,
he'd be like, what? Who? Where? Show me on the map. Yeah, thank you to so many people who are messaging. But why don't you go on, download our app, and you can post a message in the contact section, or you can post a video. We'd love to hear from you. First memory, says Les, Lisbon Lions in 1967 versus Wraith Rovers at Starts Park. My first game, Clydebank Kilbowie, Ken Eadie. Great days, Peter, says Ian. I mean, that's
wet, across the top.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good shout, Tam, actually. Aberdeen beating Celtic in the 1990 Scottish Cup final is my first Dons match, says Michael Taylor.
Was that penalties?
Yes.
Penalty shootout?
Yes, absolutely. I think Charlie Nicholas, Ruffy, went up to take a penalty for Aberdeen, knowing that he'd signed a pre-contract with Celtic, and he just popped it into the top corner, as Charlie does, cool as ice. Yep. Then he headed off to Maxwell Plums and then on to Panama Jacks. And that was how cool he was.
I've told you this before. I've got a photograph. I found it, actually. I've got a photograph in the house of a Scotland team, which Charlie was in it, leaving to play somebody abroad. And we've all got, we're sort of blazers and everything on, and Charlie's dressed up like Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
I
know that.
And I'll show you.
You've got to. Yeah, Ruffy, can I ask you this? And I'm only asking this on the basis that I know possibly you're not guilty of it. I have been guilty of it when I was much, much thinner. I could get away with it. Tam, I'm not sure about you. You definitely, probably, because obviously you're wearing a couch at the moment. Have you ever worn leather trousers, Ruffy? Did you wear leather trousers?
I don't think so. I had the big leather coat.
Yeah, but not leather trousers.
Not leather trousers.
Did you not get away with them? Mullet, leather trousers?
No. You've not got 40s in the leather trousers.
Did you wear leather trousers?
I had leather trousers.
You need to get that picture.
No.
I hope it wasn't leather chaps with the arse cut out. Police Academy.
If I have that photograph, I'll be burning it. Simple as that. Oh, I had some mile out gear, by the way. There was a great guy in Edinburgh who had a shop, a designer shop in the Grass Market, and honestly, Tam, he could have sold me anything. It was just ridiculous. So you didn't have leather trousers?
No.
Okay, fantastic. Leather, William Smith. William, you will never know how near to the bone you are. He says, a leather thong, Ruffy. Well done, William. Absolutely. Anyway, listen, we've all actually been guilty of in a photograph of wearing some mile out gear. His 1970 League Cup final, the 1971 League Cup final outfit that he went to the actual party in, he looked like Coco the Clown. I mean, it was the most outrageous outfit ever, Ruffy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember it, yeah. I don't know where I got it. It's Cecil G's or something like that.
Did you? Yeah, which eventually went into liquidation. Anyway, apart from anything else, Kenny, you get on that app from LA and shows what you look like. Get your video recorded on your earliest memory of football. You don't necessarily have had to have gone to the game, just your earliest memory of football. And we'd love to see some of you recording your video, and we'll give away a huge poster of Cristiano Ronaldo, which is, it's absolutely fabulous, painted by the renowned artist Jim Scullion. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, apart from that, mile out gear, somebody said Reggie Blinker. There was just my footnote to that story. There was a period where in Glasgow they were opening bars, unlike now where they're closing them. But there was a period when they were opening them, and all the players and everybody used to get invited, and people who were in the media used to get invited to go to these bars. And every week I was there in the town, Ruffy, I'd see Reggie Blinker at the end of the bar, and he just used to wave to me. He just used to wave to me. He loved it.
Reggie Blinker.
Such a great lad. Just his smiling face at the end of the bar, and I knew we were in for a right good night. Anyway, thank you to so many of you for engaging with us and giving us your thoughts on Scotland. Let's hope on Monday we're back with something positive from that game against Portugal. But for now, don't forget to post your messages, download the app, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Come and join the football family. And thank you for so many of you for your messages and support. From Tam McManus, Alan Ruff and myself, Peter Martin, thank you for listening and watching.